Are you struggling to come up with content that actually connects? Keep watching, because by the end of this video you'll know how to use AI to get endless ideas, write in your own voice and make content creation simple and consistent to grow your business and your brand. Now before we get started, can I ask one small favour? If you like what I do here, can you please hit the subscribe button? That keeps me energized to bring you more content. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. Okay, let's begin with tip number 1, which is to use AI to spark ideas when you feel a bit stuck. Now you know that awful moment where you open your Instagram or your YouTube and you just freeze because your brain has gone totally blank. Now I want you to treat AI as your business and your creative partner here, and not just as a magic button or another tool. Now the secret is to be super specific and give it good detail and good context. Now if you open ChatGPT, so you go to chat.openai.com and just type in something like give me content ideas, you'll just get very generic stuff like 5 ways to be productive. This is not very useful at all. But if you actually say to ChatGPT, give me 20 content ideas for a busy parent who wants to sell handmade candles but feels guilty taking time for herself. Now there's a good prompt that you can actually use and model. The results are going to be really helpful and much more specific, and you'll see content that actually sounds more like it was custom made for your audience. Now I also recommend looking at tools like answerthepublic.com or also ask.com to actually find out the actual questions that your audience types into Google. Then take those exact questions and just feed them into the AI. Now this works so well because you're actually combining real data here with AI creativity. Now my student Emily did this for her small baking business. She just searched questions about gluten-free baking using these tools and then just plugged them into ChatGPT and came out with 30 or more post ideas that made people say, wow, this is exactly what I needed. So I highly recommend you check out those tools, answerthepublic.com or also ask.com, to find out what people are actually Googling for. Now let me also tell you something. The key thing is to actually ask for angles and unique hooks instead of boring how-to content. Now people do watch how-to content and they do watch tutorials, but they don't tend to share them. But you do want to make tutorials, but you've got to make them with a good angle or a good unique hook here. Now they actually share things that hit them in an emotional way. For example, instead of how to grow on TikTok, you could ask AI, what mistakes make new TikTok creators feel embarrassed? So there's a unique angle you could use. And suddenly your content is about the real fears that people actually have, and it connects with them instantly. Now if you want to make your content feel a bit less robotic and more humanized, I suggest asking AI to create ideas in unusual formats. For example, you could say, give me 10 meme ideas for freelancers who feel stuck. So there's one example you could use. Or another one is, write me 10 short skit ideas for YouTube shorts about a coach who overthinks everything. So there's another example you could use. Now this is how my student Ryan, actually, who coaches introverted business owners, turned boring advice into funny short videos. That actually really helped him to blow up his engagement. Now one of the best things you can do is actually create an idea bank in Notion or even in Google Documents. Now every Sunday or even every Monday you can just spend 20 minutes getting AI to give you some really good ideas, say 30 ideas. And you want to do this every week, and after about a month you'll have about 120 pieces of content sitting there waiting for you to actually action. Now my student Claire told me that doing this stopped her 9 AM panic of I don't know what to actually post tomorrow, and it really helped her get more organised, which means that she finally gets to spend her evenings off the screen. So it's a good idea to actually do this. Now don't believe the myth that creativity means just falls from the sky. Now most creators who look natural are actually using some useful systems. AI just happens to make it much faster. Now after about 4 weeks of this, you'll see how much lighter you feel knowing that you'll never wake up to a blank screen again. Now to make this even better, you want to combine AI with Pinterest trends or even use Google Trends to see what's hot right now. Google Trends is a really good free tool from Google where you can actually see the search interest for different things over time. So I highly recommend you have a look at that. For example, if self-care Sundays is trending, then you can just tell AI, Give me 10 short content ideas about self-care Sundays for busy business owners and entrepreneurs. So there's another example prompt you can use. And you end up with ideas that are both timely and deeply relatable. Now, I have put together some free training resources to help you build an online income source using AI. Go and click the link below in the description to find out more. Now back to the video. Let's now move on to tip number 2, which is to use AI to write faster without losing your voice. Now, I know writing can feel like pulling teeth, but you can let AI get the ball rolling, so you never start from zero. Now, one of my students, Jake, who runs a small gym and used to spend 3 hours writing a single email. Now he actually gets AI to draft something which takes around 10 minutes and spends 20 minutes making it sound more like him. And he told me he went from dreading writing to actually enjoying it because he's not mentally exhausted anymore. Now, if you want AI to really sound like you, what you want to do is copy and paste 3 or 4 of your favorite posts or your emails into ChatGPT and then just tell it, analyze my tone and rewrite this next post in my style as if I'm texting a good friend. So there's the prompt you can use. Now, this simple trick works really well. It's like training the AI to speak you, now which most people completely skip. Now, I suggest using Grammarly.com or Quillbot.com alongside AI as a final polish tool. Now, these tools are really useful and are great for checking clarity without stripping out your personality. Now, the combination of ChatGPT for drafting and Grammarly for cleanup is a bit like having a co-writer who also edits for you. Now, let me give you a key insight. AI doesn't know your stories. So always add your lived experience and your stories. If AI writes a generic tip like create a schedule, then you can just add a line like, I used to wake up at 5:30 a.m, scroll for an hour and then hate myself for wasting time. So here's what I do differently now. So there's an example you can use. Now, that little human detail is what really connects with the audience. Now, if you want your posts to feel more conversational, just ask the AI to write it as if you're sending a voice note to a close friend. This stops your posts from sounding like essays. Now, Ryan, one of my students who coaches gamers, started doing this, and his comments literally doubled because people were saying it feels like you're talking to me and not at me. So his engagement really went up. Now, you don't want to waste your time editing as you go. I recommend batching, so use AI to draft 5 or 6 posts in one sitting. Don't just stop to polish and then just edit them the next day. So that's what you really want to be doing. Now, my client Lucy actually did this for a whole month on LinkedIn posts, and it took her around 90 minutes. And she was actually really surprised to see how much calmer she felt knowing everything was actually ready. Now, remember, you are always the final editor. AI is your co-pilot and your partner, not your replacement. Now, people will follow you for your personal take, your weird stories, your unique insights, and even your humor. The AI just clears the rocks out of the path so you can just run faster. Let's now move on to tip number 3, which is to use AI to make your content look and sound more professional. Now, you can use AI to fix that I'm not a writer fear. Tools like HemingwayApp.com or ChatGPT can actually make your writing sharper without sounding stiff. Now, one of my students, Lily, used to post long, rambly captions that no one would really read. Now she just pastes her draft into Hemingway and it instantly looks more clear, like something that you'd actually want to read. Now, if you want to stand out more visually, you can use Canva.com, and it's free, and it's AI magic design features, and it can actually generate clean and professional graphics from your text. Now, one of my students, Paul, who runs a photography side hustle, made his first client brochure in just an hour using Canva AI, and people thought he'd actually hired a designer to do it. Now, I recommend asking ChatGPT to give you 10 headline variations every time you actually write, so this gives you some good variety. Now, most people spend hours on the body of a post but actually ignore the title. Now, when Lily changed how to save time on content to the 3 things I stopped doing that gave me 5 hours back every week, when she changed her title like that, her post views went from 50 to 1,200 in a couple of days. So you really want to focus on your headlines and your titles here. Now, if your struggle is with video, is that you freeze when the camera turns on, You can actually just ask the AI to give you short, bullet style talking points instead of word for word scripts. Now one of my students, Kevin, now records in a single take because he feels like he's talking and not actually performing. Now the key thing to remember is that repurposing actually is one of your best friends. Now AI can actually take your long blog post and your long form videos and create 5 or more Instagram captions, 3 tweets and a video outline, and this will take around 20 minutes. Now this is how you look much more consistent across different social media platforms without doing 5 times the work. Now to help you catch on to some useful trends, you can use explodingtopics.com and then just ask the AI, how can I create content about this trend that ties into my business? So there's the question you can ask the AI. And this is how you can actually stay ahead without being glued to social media all day. You want to make sure you always add a bit of you before posting. So you want to put your own unique insights and your own stories in as well. Even just a small story, a quirky opinion or a lesson that you've learned actually can make a really big difference because it's more relatable. That human touch is what turns content from seen into more shares and likes. Let's now move on to tip number 4, which is to use AI to stay consistent even when life gets busy. Now, if your biggest struggle is disappearing for weeks when life gets rather chaotic, you can actually get AI to build a simple content calendar for you. Now, one of my students, Priya, who works full time and takes care of her parents, she actually asked ChatGPT to create a 4-week schedule with 3 post ideas a week. And she told me it was just like having that plan gave her back a sense of control. Now, I suggest that you block off around 90 minutes once a week to actually batch create your content. Now, you can use AI to draft posts, then just put them into buffer.com or even later.com. and then just schedule them out for you. Now when you actually do this, you no longer wake up in a panicked and wondering mode, wondering what I am posting today. Everything is much more organized for you. Now the key thing is to actually create reusable content templates. So let me give you an example. Here's what I thought, ... here's what actually happened, ... or here's what I learned. So there's some examples you can do. Now AI can actually help you fill in the blanks each week. It's a bit like having a safety net that you never have to start from zero. Now if you want to be part of the conversation even when you're busy, then you can actually use AI to set reminders about seasonal events or trending hashtags. Now just imagine always having a relevant post ready without any scrambling at the last second. Now don't forget to actually recycle your content as well. You can ask AI to rephrase or even modernize an old post that you wrote say 6 months ago. Now one of my clients, Josh, actually reposted an old piece of content about working from home burnout after AI helped him actually update it. And it got double the engagement because new people hadn't actually seen it. So there's an idea that you can use. Now I also recommend using AI to draft email newsletters ahead of time. One of my students, Priya, now writes all of her monthly emails in just one sitting within just a few hours with ChatGPT's help. And she told me that for the first time in several years, she didn't miss a single send, even when her job got really crazy busy. Now the big win here isn't just more content, it's actually peace of mind as well. Now Priya actually told me she finally gets her Sundays back to spend time with her family because she's not constantly behind. Now that's the real gift of using AI. Let me now give you tip number 5, which is to use AI to understand your audience really well. Now you know that feeling when you post something and it just feels like you're shouting into an empty room. The fastest way out of that is to let AI help you research your audience on a level that you never thought was actually possible. I recommend starting with sparktoro.com. It's like a cheat code. You just type in your niche and it literally shows you what podcasts your audience actually listens to, what hashtags they use, and even what YouTube channels they actually follow. Now when Ben, one of my students who runs a small coaching business for new dads, actually used this strategy, he found out that his audience actually loved podcasts about time hacks way more than parenting tips. And that totally changed the content that he actually started creating. Now, if you want to go even deeper, you can use Reddit and Quora combined with AI. Now, here's what I recommend you do. Go to search for real conversations in Reddit threads like burnout freelancers or side hustle ideas. and then just copy their comments into ChatGPT, and then just ask, summarize the biggest fears and desires that these people have, and give me 10 content ideas that speak directly to those emotions. So there's the prompt you can use. Now this simple trick works really well because the insights are coming from real human frustrations from Reddit and Quora, and not just guessing. Now let me tell you something else. Most people are still stuck creating content around what they actually want to say. But the transformation happens when you flip that and start creating around what your audience is already talking about or searching for. That's why I love Google autocomplete and answerthepublic.com. You just type in half a question and you'll see exactly what keeps people up at night. This is how you make content that feels like you're inside their head. So you really want to use answerthepublic.com to find questions that people are asking on Google in your niche, and then make content based on those ideas. Now one of my students, Sarah, who runs an online yoga studio, actually used ChatGPT to analyze 50 reviews of other yoga apps. And she pasted them in and asked AI, what are the top 5 frustrations these people have? There's the question she actually asked the AI, and the AI actually came back with things like feeling judged, classes are too long, and boring teachers. Then she basically started creating 15-minute super friendly, judgment-free yoga sessions on YouTube. And just a couple of months later, she said her engagement has actually doubled because people commented. It's like you know exactly what I'm thinking. So you can do something very similar here as well to get your engagement up. Now I also suggest that you ask AI to roleplay as your ideal client. Now you can just literally type, pretend you are a single mother trying to start an online business with no time and no money. Tell me what you think about at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. So there's the question or the prompt you can use. And you'll be really surprised at just how detailed the answers actually are. It's like holding up a mirror to your audience's deepest thoughts. Now that single insight will change the way you speak to them from now on. Now make sure you don't forget that you can also use polls on Instagram or YouTube to actually collect answers from your audience, and then just feed those results back into the AI. Now my student Chris did a simple poll, which was, what's your biggest challenge with making videos? That was the question he asked. And he put the responses into ChatGPT, and he got back a list of patterns that became the backbone of his next 20 posts for his content. Now this wasn't guessing anymore, it was data-driven empathy. Now one of the biggest shifts you'll feel when you actually do this is more confidence. So instead of thinking, I hope this post lands, you'll know exactly why it will land. Now when Sarah started doing this, she told me, I don't feel like an imposter anymore. I finally know what to say because I know who I'm talking to. So that's the real transformation here. Content creation stops being scary and starts feeling like an ongoing conversation with a close friend. Let's now move on to tip number 6, which is to use AI to turn your personal stories into content that people actually care about. Now you know what a lot of people get wrong with AI, they just copy what AI spits out, and that's why everything sounds quite robotic and rather boring. Now what I suggest is that you feed AI your own real stories so it learns your own voice and your own experiences. For example, you can use Notion AI and ChatGPT like a personal editor, and you can just literally tell it, here's what happened when I tried to film my first video. I was shaking, the light went out, and I almost quit. Now please make this story inspiring and conversational, but keep it sounding just like me. So that's the prompt you can use, or you can actually model. Now suddenly your posts stop sounding like everyone else and start sounding just like you, but just clearer. Now this exact approach helped Jason, one of my students who runs a tiny photography page, turn his awkward personal story about messing up his first paid shoot into a reel that got shared more than 400 times because people loved how raw and how real it actually was. Now if you want a game-changing workflow, here's what I suggest you do. You can record a short voice memo on your phone whenever something funny, frustrating or life-changing actually happens. Then just upload that voice memo to otter.ai or even descript.com. So it actually transcribes everything for you. After that, you just want to copy the text into AI and say, turn this into 3 tweet ideas, 1 Instagram caption and a voice script in my voice. So there's the prompt you can use, and it's like building content out of your own life without sitting down at a blank screen. Now, when Maria, one of my students, started doing this, she went from posting just once a week to posting 5 times a week without feeling forced, because all of it came from her real life. Now, don't forget that you can actually feed AI things that are weirdly specific to you. For example, I once asked AI to make a post out of how I use sticky notes to organise my day when I'm a bit overwhelmed. And it came up with 3 ideas that got people commenting, this is exactly what I do too. So I got some good engagement. So that's the real secret. You're not trying to be perfect, you're just trying to be more relatable to your audience. Now, tools like ChatGPT with the custom instructions filled out with, here's how I speak, here's what I believe. So those prompts, make sure the output always sounds just like you and not a robot. Now, the best part is about using AI this way is that it completely changes how you see content creation. Instead of trying to look impressive, you start showing up as the real you. I've seen students go from frozen and scared to post to genuinely enjoying it. Now, Maria told me I used to feel like content was a bit of a chore. Now it feels like a conversation I get to have with people every day. And when that shift actually happens, your audience starts to notice and will engage more. And that's when you can start to build some trust, and trust is what makes your audience actually stick with you. Wow, that's it for this one. Now, if you're serious about building your online business and creating a sustainable online income, take the next step now. Click the link below in the description or in the comments and go through to my website, where you can find some free training resources to help you get started right away. These free step-by-step resources are designed to guide you through launching a successful online business and generating online income streams. So don't wait, take action today. Click the link below and start your journey right now. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does energize and motivate me to create more content for you. Thank you very much indeed. And if you want to connect on social, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel, and have a wonderful day.